What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to feature 3 recent returns that I just got back through the mail. So let me get to the first envelope and get right to it. Alright, this first success is returned from former Kansas City Royal Steve Farr on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also was a Yankee, among a few other teams, I believe, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But Steve Farr was a reliever for roughly about 10 years, I want to say, in the major leagues. 11 years, actually. He originally was drafted by the Pirates. However, he was traded to the Cleveland Indians organization, and he did not make his major league debut until 1984 at the age of 27 years old as a starter for the Cleveland Indians. Actually, he spent about half in the bullpen, half as a starter. He started 16 games, and he finished the 1984 season with just 3 wins and 11 losses for his career. So he was let go by the Cleveland Indians after making his major league debut that same year, and he found his way to the Kansas City Royals. The Kansas City Royals gave him an opportunity to try out, so to speak, and he was only up for 16 games with the Royals in 1985. This is an 86 top, so that would have been 85 probably when that picture was taken. And he appeared in only 16 games. But in those 16 games, he went 2-1 with a 3.11 ERA. So, pretty successful. The following year, in 1986, he was a staple of the Royals bullpen. He went 8-4 with a 3.13 ERA in 56 appearances. From then forward, he would have, some pretty successful seasons with the Royals, spending a total of 6 years with the Royals, compiling a 34-24 record as mainly a reliever with a few spot starts here and there. His most successful season was at the age of 33 when he was 13-7 with a 1.98 ERA in 57 appearances. So that is a very, very good season. I am very surprised he didn't make an all-star team with numbers like that. Well, after that season, the top season that he had, the Royals chose not to re-sign him, and instead he wound up signing a big contract with the New York Yankees. Well, he was very successful as a Yankee as well, and this is probably his best stretch of 3 years. The Yankees actually made him their closer from 1991 to 92 and 93. And during that time, he saved 23 games, 30 games, and 25 games. So from 1991, 92, and 93, he had very good success. Well, in 1994, he decided to go back to the Cleveland Indians, the team that had released him 10 years prior. Well, with Cleveland, he did not fare as well as he did with the Yankees, and he only saved 4 games while appearing in only 19. About mid-season for Cleveland, July 1st actually, he was then traded to the Boston Red Sox. So the Indians gave up on him twice in a 10-year span, basically. So at that point, Mr. Farr was 37 years old, and after that, he retired. He was a part of the 1985 World Series champions Kansas City Royals. He had a very successful career as a Yankee, so this is a very nice addition to my collection. I have never gotten him before, so very happy to get them. Thank you very much. All right, this next one. Okay. This should have been his teammate, actually. This next one is postmarked from, is that Virginia, looks like? And that is former Atlanta Brave, Milwaukee Brewer, Cleveland Indian, and New York Yankee, but that's not a Yankees card, Dion James. So Dion James, he was the Brewers' first round pick in the 1980 draft. He spent his career playing for the Brewers, the Indians, the Yankees, and the Atlanta Braves. He was a left-handed hitter, played the outfield, played center field and left field. Spent time in Milwaukee. Basically, bounced around. It looks like every 2 seasons he was with a different team. So 83 to 85 with the Brewers, the Braves from 87 to 89, the Indians from 89 to 90, New York Yankees from 91 to 93, and spent a year in the Japanese League, then back with the Yankees to finish his career from 95 to 96. So, kind of a journeyman would be the best way to put it. He had the opportunity to start a couple places. He was the starting outfielder, for a few years. He batted over 300 1, 2, 3, 4 times in his career. His most successful season was in 1993, where he batted 332 in 115 games. Wasn't really big on the home run production. The most he ever hit in his career in a season was 10. So that's a pretty fair line for a hitter. 312, 10 home runs, and 61 RBIs. So he was a very adequate outfielder. Not really known for his defensive abilities. That was part of the reason, according to his Wikipedia page, that he did not last long for the Atlanta Braves, and why the Braves eventually wound up getting rid of him and sending him to Cleveland. So, very good player. Like I said, a first-round draft choice of the Brewers back in 1980. Stuck around for, roughly 10 years in the majors. Back and forth. 11 years, excuse me. That does not count his 1 year in the Japanese League. So if you are a Japanese League collector, this is somebody that you should consider, getting. I'm sure he has a Japanese card out there. I just don't have it. These cards are very easy to find, very common. So, he's pretty much a run-of-the-mill in almost every set from 1983 to 1993 or 94 even. So definitely get a chance if you get a chance to write Dion James. I've never gotten him before, so very happy to add those to my collection. All right, this final one, actually, okay, that one didn't show up real well. I sent these care of the Houston Astros, and this is the current coach on the Astros, Gary Pettis, on 1, 2, 3, and technically 4, but he signed it in probably the most darkest spot of the card, in that corner right there. But, it's signed, whatever. I didn't realize that he would choose that corner to sign, but he seems to look like he likes to sign in that corner regardless of where it is on the card, except for that one. He could have signed it there, I guess, but at least he turned it. So, Gary Pettis, a very good defensive outfielder, spent, like Dion James, a good part of his career in the majors. Was not a minor leaguer long, I don't think. Came up with the Angels in 1982. He won a Gold Glove 5 times. 5-time Gold Glove winner, which is very impressive. 1985, 86, 88, and 1990. Two of the Gold Glove awards were with the Angels, and 3 of them were with the Detroit Tigers. So a very superb defensive outfielder. Had some pretty good speed. Could steal a base. I believe he was a switch hitter, so a switch hitter as well. Spent a good 10 years in the majors. After he retired in 1992 from the Tigers, he became a coach. He coached the California Angels in 1995. He was with the Chicago White Sox from 97 to 02. He was with the Mets from 03 to 04. He was with the Rangers, his former team, from 2007 to 2014. And he is currently, in 2015, went to the Astros, and that is where he still is today as the third base coach. So if you ever watch an Astros game, this is the gentleman that is the coach on third base. So you may see him on TV. He obviously was on the World Series team that won the World Series with the Astros, so he got his World Series championship that way. I personally remember him coaching in the minor leagues. I did not get an opportunity to get his autograph, but I know between his major league stints, he was a hitting coach in the minor leagues as well. He is also featured in one of my videos. Technically, he's not featured, but his little brother is, and that was the wrong name videos that I put together, and I'll put a link to that at the bottom below if you want to check that out. But I'll show a picture of the card right now. This card is actually his little brother Lynn, and as a stunt to mess with the cameraman, they had him take that picture. So even though the card says it's Gary Pettis, it is not actually him on the card. It is his younger brother Lynn Pettis. So anyways, just a little side note there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Very happy to add all three of these gentlemen to my collection, as I have never gotten them back before. I'd seen other people have successes with all three of these, so I decided to sit down and send them some cards from my collection. All of these guys played during the area where they have tons of cards out there, so they're pretty readily available. You can find them for, under 20 cents a piece, 25 cents a piece, or less. So whenever you're cracking that wax open, definitely pay attention. You might have a Pettis, a Steve Farr, or a Dion James in there, and you could stick it in the mail and ask them to sign it. So thanks for joining me for another episode. Look forward to your comments below.